Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday, the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, is coming to you from London. And we see quite a lot of red on the screen. Fears of Russia invading Ukraine tending to dominate the news at the moment. And we're seeing here that the dollar is looking stronger, a bit of a flight to quality, and that means that the euro is looking weaker. And here we see the weekly, daily and 60-minute charts, the long-term, medium-term and short-term view of the market. So the euro is sinking weaker, so that's quite key. Sterling is also looking weaker against that stronger dollar. Short-term, we're fallen below the cloud. So they're seeing a bit of pressure there, but up against the euro. So if you like, it's dollar strength, euro weakness, sterling sitting in the middle. Bitcoin sitting steady at $42,000. So we are just holding the gains we've seen, sort of bouncing on the cloud, but we did touch 45,000 at the end of last week. So we have come back a bit and still short-term bearish, but the long-term bullish trend holding the cloud is pretty key. The US stock market fell heavily on Friday at the end. We can see how it came off at the close in the closing hours there. We are still bearish below the cloud here on the medium-term chart, and of course that is weighing on markets. We did find support on the weekly, but really at the moment, if we make new lows, we activate these downside targets, so that's really quite key. Keep an eye on your systems. And we are seeing the futures down quite significantly. The S&P down just under 1%, the Nasdaq future down over 1%, and the VIX volatility jumping above 30. So the fear index is in that fearful zone. Really below 20, the markets are sanguine, but above 20 we start fear, and then above 30 the market is really starting to look quite fearful, and we're seeing this higher low. You can still do the charts on the VIX just the same way, so we're seeing this higher low, potentially the higher high. We have got a target to 47 for the VIX, which would be a very high level not seen since the pandemic. The FTSE future down nearly 2% this morning. The DAX cash market in Germany down over 3% through that critical 15,000 level, and Germany heavily hit, being more exposed to Russia and Eastern European markets. So really quite significant there. The CAC 40 down by a similar amount. Japan down by 1.6%. The Hang Seng down by 1.4%. India down 1%, and the Aussie market, the Sensex in India down 3%. So we're really seeing some pretty big falls here. The Aussie market actually bucked the trend. It was up 0.3%, being a resource laden with a lot of moves towards towards more risk-on assets. We're seeing wheat up 0.5%, so that's continuing to look bullish, and that obviously helped fuel inflationary fears. Gold actually jumped on Friday again on fears in Ukraine. We see that big daily candle giving us a 3-month high for gold, so we're looking bullish. Once we make these breaks, you look to where we go next for the targets. We've got targets to 1912, 1921. These targets here not yet activated, but back above $2,000, and of course to new highs for gold. So gold looking pretty bullish. Silver up 0.4% this morning, and again now looking bullish on all three time frames, just coming out on the daily cloud. So precious metals starting to show their way. We did see US 10-year yields above 2% on Friday. But we are back below that level, so we've just seen a bit of a sell-off in bond yields. But we've got new targets now with that thrust to 260, 270, so 2.6, 2.7% for US 10-year yields. And interestingly, on the 30-year yield, we have hit the targets that we saw there. So those targets were given in our report, and that's where we got to. So bond yields across the board looking higher. Looking at the energy mix now, we've got Brent crude. It was nudging 7-year highs overnight, So that's really quite significant. We're seeing Brent looking much higher, and we've got targets above 100, and of course our long-term targets that we've given out in our reports quite key as well. US nat gas looks to be recovering a little bit through the cloud on the 60-minute chart, so that's looking a little bit better, and we've got some upside targets. We need to hold this 390 level. Emissions we are seeing above 90, falling back this morning. We were neutral out to clients this morning, but we are seeing emissions pulling back a little bit. Gas markets looking pretty strong. They bounced back above the range. Of course, all eyes on Ukraine for here. If Russia starts to respond to sanctions and withhold gas, that's going to have an impact on European gas prices. Although we are through the mid-winter point now, so it'll be interesting to see whether Russia moves quickly. German power prices up nearly 4% this morning, breaking to new highs. Really a triangle breakout here. We've got big upside targets for power, so that's certainly one to watch as well. And Nordic power slightly down this morning, but the key thing is there that the German power market is raising because low liquidity has been a factor, and there is an article out on Montel News this morning where I've made some comments on that. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.